Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to be getting my oil changed. My car's oil changed. So, I'm going to be interviewing the guy, and I'm just going to ask him some questions. I'm going to talk about my car and different things you should do. This should be very informative, so you don't get ripped off anymore, because this guy is pretty good about not doing that.
No, that wasn't it. Air filter. Brake fluid.
So that's the brake fluid right there?
Uh-huh.
So what does brake fluid do?
Brake fluid is what helps you to stop. It converts your foot power that you put on the pedal into hydraulic power that closes the brakes so you stop the vehicle.
Alright, so it's like kind of helps you stop better. Without it, you wouldn't really be able to.
You wouldn't be able to stop.
I guess it would just, I don't know.
You'd be Fred Flintstone sticking your feet in the, on the ground. Where you would fill your oil up top.
So that's where the oil actually comes in.
That's where you put it in. This is where you check it, which I know you do all the time, right? Yeah. Looks good. And this is your power steering fluid. And that's good. See the mark right here?
So like, with oil changes, I thought like, cause you had the oil in the car, it says your or like your fuel, it's got the line when it goes on almost empty. It means you probably should get it filled up and stuff. Is there like residual oil in there or something? Is that why you had to get it changed out, or?
No, oil, as your engine runs, it uses the oil for lubrication, so your parts don't wear out. Without the oil, it would generate too much heat and it would seize up. So after running so long, the additives and stuff that keep the engine working properly start to break down. And that's why you need to change your oil.
Oh, so it's not the regular fuel that you fill your car with at the gas
No,
station.
that has nothing to do with the oil.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was always
gas and
wondering about
oil, you don't want those mixing.
that. I just wasn't. I always wondered about that. I was like, that's so weird. Why would you?
This is actually your overflow for the radiator that's up here.
So that like kind of cools it off. 'Cause it
That-
can
that-
get hot.
Right. You have to have coolant in this type of engine, because without it, then it would overheat and seize up. So the oil keeps it lubricated and helps cool it, and the antifreeze keeps it cool also. Plus, antifreeze,
Yeah, it
just
keeps it from
says
freezing up in the winter.
that's right. And let me see, if you needed to add more here, you would take this off. You never take this off hot.
So if your car's been running, don't ever take
Do
it off.
not take that off, because it will come out really, really fast. And see, that's full.
So that's that.
That's your
coolant,
antifreeze.
Or
Coolant,
antifreeze.
yes, coolant.
But it also cools it off.
Yes, but you only check this when it's cool here, and you can check this over here. And it's got a low line here or a hot line there. You're right in the middle, so you're good.
All right. It's interesting.
Now let's check your battery real quick. Let me get the screwdriver. You can't see it because of this, but it's got a little plus on it also.
So you actually don't need this to tell. You can actually
No,
just use these
it's got it on the
things
battery.
here.
Yep, it's marked on the battery.
That's useful.
This cell is a little low.
Is there like oil in the battery?
No, this is water.
Oh, that doesn't mess it up.
No, you have to, batteries have acid in them. These are full. Because you need the acid for electrolysis, for it to actually to work as a battery. And as it heats up from being charged, it boils off the water. So then every now and then you have to add a little more water back into the cells, or it'll go dry and it'll burn the battery up.
Oh, so you got to dilute the acid with water.
Right. The acid stays in there. Even if it boiled off, there'd still be acid in there. You can add water to acid. You cannot add acid to water, because if you add acid to water, it will jump back at you. Chemical reaction.
Okay.
So, hang on, I'll get some water. Distilled water to your battery
So what's the
Distilled?
difference between, yeah.
Distilled is, well, you've heard of stills, right?
Yeah.
Moonshiners and all that. Okay. Well, they're just doing the water. And that makes it to where it's just pure water. It doesn't have any minerals or
So
contaminants in it. Because if you add more just tap water to this, then you're putting in the minerals that's in the water. It's not bad for you, but it's bad for the battery. It shortens the life of your battery. So you want to always use distilled water.
So all those extra metals and fluorides, chlorines and stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't want those in your battery.
Do you know if like reverse osmosis water will work too?
I don't think so. I don't think that takes the minerals, actually takes the minerals out. Distillation, I think, is the only one that takes the minerals out.
Yeah,
As far as I know.
Sure.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure with the difference and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it like filters out regular oil, I guess? Or...
Well, yeah, just oil filter, I guess you would think of it as your kidneys.
So
It
takes
filters out the
certain-
impurities in the oil, and it traps them inside here. And then it, well, like I said, it keeps the impurities out.
So it's, yeah, it's just a filter.
Yeah, if you didn't have that in there, then the little metal shavings and stuff that's always sloughing off in your engine anyhow would get in there and tear up more things.
Yeah, that would not be good.
No,
What is this thing you're carrying on here?
this is a floor jack. We're going to jack it up just a little bit so I can get underneath there and get to the filter. As a matter of fact, before we do that, we're going to run it. Since you haven't been anywhere in the car, right now it's cool. We want to heat it up a little bit so that'll help flush out some of the junk that's in the oil. So let's just run it.
Alright.
And fill out my paperwork. Reset Oil Life 2009 Sonata. Now I'm going to reset the oil life on the car. That just counts mileage and time, and let you know when to, time to change your oil again.
Alright.
It takes the place of the little sticker I put on the window.
So that like lets you know what time it was last done.
Yep.
So what is trip?
Hang on. Trip is the difference. You got your odometer, tells you your mileage. But let's say you're going from here to Columbia, you just want to see how many miles it is. You go ahead and reset it to 0, and then it'll start to count. You've
Okay.
got an A and a B. See, like this one, it says 17.2 miles.
Yes.
And then if I hit reset, it goes to 0. That's all. But it's not going to change the odometer. Now, sometimes with these, you got to have it in trip A. We'll turn the key all the way off, turn it to the second position, and hold the reset button.
So sometimes you gotta turn the car all the way off and back on again.
Yeah.
While holding reset.
Without starting it. And hopefully these thing in the middle will start flashing.
So, what is the thing in the middle that will be flashing?
We're trying to set the oil life, reset it,
Okay.
and it may not. Sometimes with the older vehicles, they didn't actually have it.
Yeah, I think this vehicle is coming on 12 years old.
Yeah. Does it ever give you a message to change the oil, or
I
how much
don't
oil's
think
left in it?
so. But a lot of times when it will start, it'll start with like, I think it says TPMS.
Mhm.
I think that stands for like tire pressure or something. I'm not sure what that means though.
That's the cruise.
It's like in orange, and it'll say TPMS.
Yeah. That's your tire pressure sensor. Let's try it again.
Alright, so what are these ramps for?
Car ramps. We're going to drive the front of the car on it.
Oh, so you drive the car onto the ramps.
That way we'll have a nice solid surface and both of us can look under the car.
Yeah. Never thought of that. They don't look like they'll hold the car.
Oh, would you grab the clipboard, please?
Yeah. What are you checking now?
I'm getting ready to pull the oil filter off and drain the oil out.
Oh, drain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what that is. Okay. Your oil filter is actually up inside here in this hole.
So, get down here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in,
Underneath this cover, right here.
so that hole, this cover here.
Yep. You can come all the way over and shine the thing underneath there.
Get that.
There's your filter.
Yep. You can see that? Some numbers too.
Yeah, it's just like this one. I think it's the same guy that changed it last time. And then your oil drain plug is back here. Right
So
here.
it's this black thing here.
Yeah, that's the drain pan, the oil pan, and then this is the plug.
So that.
Mhm.
And so that's where the oil is actually located. And
Right
you're
inside this
draining it
pan.
from there.
Yeah, it collects in this pan, and then there's a oil pump that's got a pickup tube down into the bottom of this pan, and that sucks the oil up and then pumps it through the engine like your heart.
Okay. So it's like an oil pump almost.
Yeah, it's got an oil pump that sucks the oil up and pushes it through the engine at the correct amount of pressure.
Okay. So right now you're like turning it, getting it undone.
Yeah, loosen it up a little bit. Get ready to take it off. We'll move the pan up here because oil is going to come out of it a little bit. Loosen a little more. Come on. There we go.
There you go. It's like syrup. What it looks like.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
like,
taste like syrup.
yeah, I would not want to eat that stuff.
Don't lick it.
Yeah, I would not eat that stuff.
Oh.
You got like metal shavings in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can
Tastes
tear,
nasty.
that tear up your car, man. That would destroy your stomach.
All right, and it's just a little oil that comes out of here, and we'll get the filter out of the way. Goodness, all these threads. All right.
Oh, wow, really was.
And we take a little bit of oil and put on the new filter on the gasket. That helps it seal. We'll let that run out a little more. But changing your oil not only helps your engine last longer, it helps it burn less fuel. It helps it as far as running properly, so it's not polluting. So proper maintenance is the key.
So it's actually more efficient to get this done.
Yes.
You'll actually be paying less money on gas, getting more miles.
Mm-hmm. And plus, when I do an oil change, I'm checking your tire pressure. So proper tire pressure helps you your gas mileage. And then if I see any issues with the vehicle, I'll let you know ahead of time. So, because how many times have you crawled under this car?
This is probably the first time.
First time. So if we were under here and I saw, let's say, that's your lower ball joint, right over there. If that was bad, I could let you know, and because that is part of your steering. That's not, it looks okay, I'm just saying. Or your CV boot up there, that's the little rubber boot over the axle. Sometimes those go bad and you won't know it. And if that's bad, that can also actually tear up your transmission. Ooh. So it's, you know, little things I look out for to keep my customers' vehicles running properly. So now we're ready to put the oil filter back up in here. And we get that hand tight. No need to crank it down. Wipe it off a little bit. And then we'll go back here and the drain plug.
So this is the drain valve.
The oil drain plug.
I mean, yeah, plug.
Yeah. We put the right size socket on there. Well, next one. There we go. We're going to get it this time. $17 millimeter.
17. I have to remember that.
And there's a torque for these, so I always torque the drain plug so it doesn't fall out, and I'm not over tightening it or not tightening it enough. Over tightening, you can tear the threads out and then it won't seal properly. And if it's not tightened properly, then it'll pour oil, it'll fall out, and you lose all your oil and burn up your engine.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
No, then you'd be calling me and I'd have to pay for it, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, it really came out. That stuff looks a lot different. It's one very steady stream. It is slowly moving down though. Wow, saw that bad oil right in there. Just draining out all that bad oil. Wow. You can see the maple syrup. Kind of looks like a syrup. Look like someone emptied a syrup bottle in there.
I think you're hungry.
Yeah. Cars like drop more oil than others.
Yeah, depends on the engine. I mean, I just did a Dodge Ram pickup with a 5.7 engine in it, and it took 7 quarts. Suburbans take 8 quarts. Just depends on how big the engine is and what the manufacturer requires.
Yeah, because I saw, I've seen some videos on the internet of oil changes, and there's like a lot of oil.
Yeah.
I mean, this oil looked like it was none. I was like, man.
Yeah. Well, like your diesel pickup trucks can take 13 quarts.
Wow. Now, how many quarts is this?
This one, I think this was only like 4.5. I've got it written down.
So you'd have to fill this thing up like multiple times.
No.
Oh, you can carry all this?
Yeah.
Looks deeper than it is.
There we go. Now we want to set the torque wrench at 30 foot-pounds for this. And every time your oil is changed, you should put a new washer on it, because this crushes down and seals against the pan.
So a washer, what is a washer?
It's this little thing right here.
Okay.
I don't know if you, does it film? There we go. There's a washer.
Yeah.
We'll put it there, and it's made out of aluminum. This one is, and it will squash once we put the torque to it. Oil's out.
Watch it squash.
I don't know how much you'll see as far as squashing, but
oh yeah, that's totally squashed.
okay, now we can get this out of the way. Alright, and then I'll put the torque wrench on it. And that's it. When it clicks,
Just when it clicks, it's good.
that's got 30 pounds of torque on it now.
Wow.
It's whatever I set the torque that I want back here. It's got little graduations of the poundage. This is in foot-pounds, so I put it at 30 foot-pounds. Put it on here, and that's it. You don't want to go past that and force it, because then you're going to mess up your wrench.
Oh, so it'll mess with the wrench, but the
Yeah.
screw and stuff.
Well, it would tighten up. It would tighten up more, but you're throwing your wrench out of calibration if you force it. You just want to go until it clicks what you set it at. And all cars have different specs. I mean, I've had some with just 10 pounds, which is, like, all the way up to 65.
Whoa.
So that's, but I've got it. There's an app for that where I check all the specs, how much oil the vehicle takes, what the torque is for here, what filter it needs.
So what app is this called?
I use an AMSOIL app. AMSOIL is a manufacturer of oil. They have a brand of oil, and they have an app that has all the cars listed. So I'd have this one, I'd punch in, it asks what make, and I'd push, well, first it asks year, so 2009, and then Hyundai, Sonata, size engine, and then it shows me all the fluids that go into it. And it'll say how many quarts of oil go into it, what the poundage is for the torque on the drain plug. And then I go to my Service Champ app, and I put in the same information, and it tells me which filter that I need. And those
Okay.
are the two apps that I use. If there weren't apps, then I'd have to carry a bunch of books.
Yeah. Phones, tablets make it a lot easier.
Yes.
All right, so we are done.
Wow, it's like a hole. It's just filled with the oil.
All right. I'm gonna take the oil over here.
So what do you do? Like, how do you dispose of this oil?
My oil supplier lets me take it to them, and I dump it there. They've got, 20,000 gallon tank, whereas I have a 130 gallon tank. So my 130 is like a drop in the bucket to them. So that's really cool. I buy oil for them, and they take care of it. And there's actually a company that comes out of North Carolina, and they take the oil and recycle it. And then I take all my filters to the recycle center, and they recycle those.
So it's not just wasting them; they're like recycling them to be
Right.
used again.
Yep.
That's good.
And what I'm doing right now is I've got a big pump that's going to suck the oil out of the pan into the tank. That way I'm not holding the pan up, messing
Yeah.
around and possibly spill it.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a lot.
Well, it takes 4.5 quarts.
So each of those bottles are a quart.
Is 1 quart. So I keep synthetic blend in those other tanks. You see the other 2 nozzles that are up there? These 2. This is synthetic blend, so I got 5W20 and 5W30 in those. But we're putting full synthetic in your car. If it was synthetic blend, then I just grab that, run the hose up there, boop, 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 be done.
So you're going full synthetic.
Right. And we get the 1/2 quart out of the way first. A little too far. So we'll make it up. On the bottle, it's got the graduations of how much it is. So 1/2 is here. I went a little beyond. So we'll just take some out of this one till I get back to the halfway mark. So that's the 1/2. And then we put 4 quarts in.
So now you're just putting the rest in.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you have to do the thing with the 1/2?
Because the requirement is 4.5 quarts.
Oh.
So instead of waiting until the last one and me overfilling it, I do that first, and that way if I put a little too much, I can just take one from the other and make it up. So let's get these out of the way. Ugh.
So this stuff looks a lot clearer than the oil that came out the back.
Oh yeah.
So that's all the stuff that it's accumulated that makes it turn that darker color.
Right. You want to see the oil dirty when you change it, because that means it's working. Put this back. Time ago, it shouldn't have been that smushed.
So that one got like
Yeah.
wholly smashed.
Yeah, in other words, no one had been changing this. They've been changing the oil and using the same one over and over again.
Man. So like the guys who were changing their oil were doing that?
Or the places they were taking it to were doing that. They weren't changing the washer like they're supposed to. It shouldn't get that squished.
Talk about how to make business. Just
Well,
reuse the washer over and over again. That'll make them want to come back.
Yeah. Well, that and it costs money for those washers.
That's what I'm saying. They want to get business.
He drove about 2,000 miles.
That's not bad.
Just
Uh-huh.
I thought that was that antifreeze.
No. Didn't need much. We just top it off.
So that's like soap water or something?
No, it's like Windex,
So it's Windex.
yeah, I guess.
Just don't pour bleach in
Smell
there.
it.
Yeah. Not too familiar with the smell of bleach. I mean,
Windex?
Windex. So-
I have a question for a year what I put on like a month.
Yeah, I had one lady call me about a Kia, 2020 Kia. Not too much.
Did we all get it?
So it's supposed to have 32 and you have 38.
Oh, we go put it for me. That's not bad. Just say we're up on the counter for Connor.
Okay.
Connor?
Am I gonna be eating TV dinner?
Yep.
Mmm.
The dog ate your food.
Dog.
I told you.
Wait, how did they even reach it? I mean, it's like on the counter. It's on the counter. How can the dog reach that stuff?
You two go clean it up.
I told you
I
they
don't know how they. What should my average tire pressure, like, what should it be?
Should be 32 pounds all the way around.
32 pounds.
And this one was 40.
Ooh.
So you're 6 pounds over.
That would not be good in my wheel. I'm just driving one day and just.
Well, it'll cause the tire to wear premature. When it's overinflated, it'll wear the center of the tire out. When they're underinflated, they wear the outsides of the tire out.
Do you heard
Can
the
they like
tires look okay?
pop, like explode like a balloon?
It's possible, but the thing it's gonna eat the tread up faster.
So if you like theoretically pumped it with like 100 pounds of air pressure,
Then you'd
it'd
have
probably-
a blowout. You'd have a blowout.
Ask
And underinflated is going to lower your gas mileage. Overinflation actually is going to increase your gas mileage, but it'll lower the life of your tires.
So it'll still cost you more money because you have to
Yes.
buy tires sooner.
Yes.
How do his tires look?
Fine. They're brand new.
Thank you.
Alright, so I hope that video was informative. It was Mr. Vargas,
So watch.
and this is his
Four.
business card.
5,
Let me
6,
s-
7,
I don't know if you can see that.
So,
and
Mom,
then
I'll put a picture of it.
8.
So
Okay,
yeah,
this is triple word, so that's
That's-
2,
that was the video
6,
for today.
7,
the car oil
8,
change. So
9,
that
10, 11,
you learned a little bit about cars,
Uh-huh.
so if
And-
that's possible, does that mean my knowledge
about
is
a little bit about what you should get checked,
No.
so that you're not getting ripped off
Does
by.
that make sense?
your- whoever you're getting your oil changed from.
Fins.
And if you aren't getting your oil changed, you need to get it changed.
need to